Yeah, what fascinates me about her is that typically this myth is usually told from the story of Jason or Creon or a lot of the men in the story, but it's never really told in this way from Medea's perspective. It's sort of like this empowering take where she's able to exact a revenge on a man in a way that a man would usually exact revenge on a woman in Greek mythos, and I think that's kind of interesting.
Jason is very much focused on his own life story, so it was very difficult for me to bring in that level of entitlement of thinking that he's like Jason, he owns everything and he's worthy enough of owning everything and being a king, but at the same point being a fun, gentle character and not giving too much of this entitlement away early in the play.
But also you have one Euripides who is a real person, for whatever that means within the play. He is someone who is actually trying to create and have agency and do things, whereas Creon is a creation of Euripides. So Creon is fictional. Creon is a little flatter, and so that both makes it easy and makes it very fun because you have these different elements of character to play with.
The most challenging aspect has been trying to find the nuance between like the love and the passion, but then also the messed up bits, because of course she ends up doing some pretty terrible things in this play. But yeah, it's been a really fascinating process because Elif has a lot of wonderful wisdom and insight on that.
How do I stay true to the play? Because I do love the play. I don't find it faulty, and I don't find it dated. But I like using the contemporary flavors in it, not because there is something wrong with the play, but because Euripides was, his history of human history was only that much. And now we have history of all this. Why not take some pieces? So it wasn't necessarily updating, it was more like stealing from today.
Yeah, I mean, I would actually say this is very experimental. Even though this is a traditional theater, like play, we are doing it in a very experimental way with the design and with the seating arrangement. It's not in a traditional theater.
So I started looking at it as a temple, and so we are inside the temple, so the inner portion of a temple, a Greek temple. And so with simple rope, we designed these columns that could not cage, rather instead sort of like draw this perimeter for the actors across this sort of runway.
In the sense that, like, if we had actually put pillars here, you know, you'd have these kind of large things blocking the actors, or the view from the audience to the actors, and by using string to kind of hint at the idea of what it was, we created something that's actually not visually obstructing what the audience sees.
The space has contributed in a way that you change how you deliver a line based on the fact that the audience is everywhere. So it's really like reminiscent of a kind of Shakespearean theater or in the round type theater where you have to deliver one here, and find reasons to turn away. So kind of inorganic, but then it becomes organic because there's a collective effervescence in that.
But yeah, we like to recreate the inner skinny portion of a temple, and then same with providing a surface of action for the actors, for the acting and performance that also would be skinny and long, and so that would allow the rows of seats being facing each other, and so the acting also having to marry that idea, and hopefully we're providing something that the actors feel they can experiment with and think.
So this space is really great for that because it is just kind of a blank slate, and whether we put columns made out of cord, or we don't have to bring in traditional columns. It just allows the creators and the artists to work off of a blank slate and envision and create what's in their head opposed to an existing environment.
Building them, an environment they can feel immersed in without it being something that completely obstructs them, so that we keep a semblance of traditional theater, yet put them in something that feels immersive to them is always,
And
I guess
to
a
us,
challenge.
it was interesting because, Medea is the quintessential Greek tragedy, and so having also the stage that could hint at that classic idea and classic shapes, we thought it was like interesting, a challenge to us, and do it in a simple way, but that could be effective, that could be visually effective.
Yeah.